What's good, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in, man. Let's jump right into it. Let's talk about the Final Four. The Alabama Crimson Tide, the UConn Huskies are about to square off tomorrow night in a great game. A lot of people don't think it could be, though. Vegas has UConn favored by 11.5 points. Bama's been hooping, though, man. If y'all been watching this team, we played really well against Charleston Southern. We were up by 31 points. The final score of that game kind of lied. We put in some walk-ons late in the game, kind of lost our poise a little bit, won by like 14. The Grand Canyon game, we scrapped, clawed. The North Carolina game, I mean, what a game that was. Grant Nelson went off down the stretch in that game, went crazy. The Clemson game, that one was just so fitting too, because we played Clemson so many times in meaningful football games, so it was only right for our chance to get to Final Four. We had to go through them, so that was a great game. We all know how good UConn is. If you've watched UConn, they are literally like an NBA team. I mean, Donovan Clingan could have gone pro and been a late first-round pick. He says, psych, I'm going to come back, ball out for a year, and get an extra couple mil whenever he goes early in the first round. He's played his way. He's played so good. They've got the Caravan dude that was on the championship team last year. Tristan Newton. What's that one dude's name? Stephon Castle. They got another really good shooter I'm not even thinking of. And there's so many more players than the ones that I've just said. They've been running roughshod through this tournament. They've won every game by like 20 points. When we all saw them go on that 30-0 run against Illinois, it was tied 23-23, and UConn was up 53-23, guys. Like that's unheard of, and you gotta give them props for that. We're playing a great team Saturday night. Alabama, we got Mark Sears, the only dude on the team that's actually from the state of Alabama. He's from Muscle Shoals, Alabama. He played at Ohio and transferred. Last year he was on the team, was more of a catch and shoot guy. He was still the second leading scorer on the team last year. This year, though, him and Aaron Estrada have shared the responsibility of, handling the ball, and he's really stepped up. You can bet your house every game that man's going to drop 20. It's just how good he is. Aaron Estrada transferred from Hofstra. He's played at like 4 different colleges. He played at, I think, Seton Hall, Oregon, Hofstra, now Bama. I mean, he's just so... His game is old school. He's a bigger guard. He likes to post up. He's got that nice little spin move he likes to do, where he creates so much space and gets layups like really easy, and contested ones using that move. Rylan Griffin, two-way player, one of the most underrated two-way players in the country, and he's been hot recently. He'll step in and take a shot with a defender right on his back. He's just like that. He steps up. He doesn't try to play too flashy. He lets the game come to him. Grant Nelson, another transfer from North Dakota State, from Devil Falls, North Dakota. Everyone, whenever he transferred in, thought that he could be like how Dalton Connect has been for Tennessee, and throughout the regular season, he didn't really live up to that. He fouled out in a lot of games, actually, really early into some of those games too. But during these later in the season, especially his defense has been incredible. For someone who's tall but a little undersized for playing the 5 position, he's done a fantastic job. Nick Pringle, a big who's played through a heel bruise for a lot of the season and has been effective. We're going to need him to step up against Donovan Clingan. He's going to have to play big. And the thing is, he's undersized. Donovan Clingan is like 6'2". Nick Pringle's like 6'9", but he's stocky, so he can maybe he can get underneath and kind of irritate Donovan Clingan a little bit. I said that Donovan Clingan was 6'2". He's 7'2". He is not 6'2". There's a lot of other really good players on Alabama's roster that I could talk about, but the main one that I need to mention is Latrell Wrightsell Jr. He transferred from Cal Fullerton, I believe. I could be wrong on that. He's been injured, especially the last month of the regular season. He got a head injury in practice, was in concussion protocol. played in the Grand Canyon. He played in the Charleston Southern game, hit 5 of his 6 threes, had like 17 points. Played in the Grand Canyon game, fell on his back. I think he got whiplash, and he couldn't play against North Carolina or Clemson. And according to Ken Palm, I don't know if this is still true, but as of a few weeks ago, he's the 4th most efficient player in the country, y'all. There's 362 teams. Each team's got at least, 14 players? He's the 4th most efficient player in the country. He does not turn the ball over, and he hits his shots. If he can come out and play and just be 80%, even 70% of the version that he's been, he'll be such a huge contribution and big addition to have back to the team. And we'll be able to play 4 guards at once. I want to talk about some of the historical components of this game. So we've only played UConn twice. We played them in the Elite Eight in 2004, which they beat us in. That was our first opportunity to go to a Final Four. That was also our first time making the Elite Eight. And then we played them last year in the regular season. We lost both of those games. UConn has stood in our way before. They're a great program. They've been a great program, especially ever since Jim Calhoun and Kevin Ollie. I mean, Danny Hurley. They've just had such a great tradition at their program. And at some point, though, the history, guys, my favorite part of sports is watching special things happen. That's why we watch the tournament. And, UConn, of course, we all know how great of a team they are, but there is no doubt in my mind that the Alabama Crimson Tide are good enough to win this game. A lot of people are saying we got to hit 15 threes. Might not even need to do that. Obviously, we can't. We can't just hit 2, but I think that this team is deep. I think that they've been playing for each other. I think when we went through our defensive struggles throughout the regular season, I think that our team really looked in themselves in the mirror and said, is this the team that we want to be? And we knew come this tournament that we couldn't be that team, and we flipped a switch. We've given up over 80 points in our last few games, but part of that is just the pace we play at. We get so many possessions. We speed the game up. In theory, that's going to give the other team more possessions. This UConn game, obviously, we need to try and slow them down, but we've got the team to do it. I'm gonna leave y'all with this, man. Nate Oates is the man that came in and allowed all of this to happen. Him coming to Tuscaloosa, bringing the blue-collar mentality, playing hard, tough, his analytical approach that he's brought. He has changed the landscape of Alabama basketball, and it's a credit to him. And as Bama fans, we owe him a huge thank you. His approach has affected the team. It's, you can tell he's got his blueprint on the team. And guys, it's all about this right here, man. This hard hat. If we play hard, we play tough, we're beating UConn tomorrow night. I don't care what the score is. I don't care if we win by 1, we win by 15. I don't care. Roll Tide.